Hello, it's time to do another review, and this one's not going to get any views because it isn't Certoys. Yeah, alright, fine, whatever. We're going to take a review at, look at SS86 Kup. Now this is a figure that some people like, some people don't. I'm somewhere in the middle. There are things that they got right, and there are things they got very, very wrong. I should have brought my Titans Return Kup here for comparison, but frankly, I'm not that organised. Not at the minute anyway, I need to sort of shelving and stuff, but let's not worry about that. So, let's have a quick look at him. First thing we're going to say, oh look, he's got a gun that tabs into the side there. Tab there, goes into a slot there. It's a weird H-shaped slot, but it just tabs in between the two smaller pieces. Sure, he's got a gun, we'll look at that in robot mode. He's got this thing, which we'll talk about when we get to robot mode. But for now, we've got Kup. And yeah, it's a very, what's the word, authentic looking version, you know, faithful, that's the word I was looking for. Faithful version of his G1 alt mode. Barely G1 because it was from the movie. Size comparison, we've got Legacy Drag Strip. Now, Legacy Drag Strip isn't huge, which just shows how small little Kup is, bless it. Compacts down quite nicely. I'm wondering if this is a bit taller, if I should lower it down a bit. There we go. But here's the thing, and he rolls, you know, it's fine. He's got a wheel, and these are inboard. We'll get most of that with like transformation stuff, but he's fine. This, I feel, should hold together a little bit better, but it's fine. The wheel arches aren't completely the same colour. The colour of the cab, because this section at the back should be this colour, but this should go all the way through that stripe. I know it's a separate part, and I understand why they haven't done that, but it's one of those little things that sort of niggles me. Autobot symbol there, Autobot symbol there. That one I feel is a bit redundant, but sure, considering this is shown in both modes. But he's also got one there. Did the G1 have those? I don't know. My G1 was an old ruined thing. And for some reason, this plastic and this plastic, bear in mind these are plastic, they're not painted plastics, just plastic, slightly different colours. I don't quite understand why. At the back, no painted in brake lights or anything. Sad. Visible hand syndrome though. But that's about it really, there's not much else you can say. Kuppy's a little pick-uppy kind of thing. He's an old little, you know, like some guy in a tiny little hick town in America somewhere would drive to sell his hay bales. I don't know how farming works, sorry. There's not much you can say about it. One thing I will point out right now, because this works in both modes, this little triangle bit is painted. Presumably, this whole thing should be painted like it's stripped down. It's separated because this will be the ankle tilt, we'll get to that. But it annoys me that that isn't painted as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I assume that Toy Hacks has fixed all of this. We'll check out Patriot Prime. But it just sort of niggles a little bit. Oh, look, little petrol tank. Neat. Big obvious pins. So as we get towards transformation, and this thing, it's not the most fun thing to transform, I'll be honest with you, and that's one of the worst parts about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this whole section, and I'm probably doing this completely wrong to how other people do it, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'll wiggle this section so that this separates. And now we're going to try and get hold of these hands, and basically they're gripping onto a peg underneath this section here. So we're going to try and get that to let go of that peg. See there? So we can get this to let go, and there we go. One of them holds a lot more than the other. And those just sort of interlock like that. Get that out, and then we can fold them over onto the back of these sections, which are totally not legs, even though I just told you they are. And now we get to a part I'm really not a huge fan of. I mean, to wiggle this whole piece, this piece is attached to here. There's a black double hinge in there, I'll show you in a minute. And it tabs into this piece. But getting that to line up and come out is not a nice experience. So you need to wiggle this whole piece to get that out. And then for this piece, we'll go onto there. And you think, oh, I'll just fold. No. it actually slides on this pin here. Slides out to the side slightly, and then double hinges. See that slider in there? Hang on, let me just get all this properly. Slide out and then goes over, and it sort of grips into this slot here. So this is only for storing the weapons, and it doesn't do that super well, but fine. Grips into there. Now, I'll do the same on this side. So we've got to wiggle this, try and get that to come out. And getting it in, bear in mind this all sort of like interlocks around these pieces here. It all sort of like ties in with this piece that sticks up and all that. This all sort of like ties together. You got to put that bit in first and then press all that in. It's not the nicest thing in the world. It's doable, it happens, you know, you can do it. I don't really like it. So get that out, slide this out, well, wriggle it so it's loose, slide it out, fold it all the way over to there. Okay, now we've got the makings of a robot, and most of you can start working out where this goes. Well, let me just throw a little wrench in the work, so to speak. So we're going to rotate this down, but you can't do it all the way because stuff will get in the way. And we're going to lift this panel down, the kneecap, all the panel down, and do that. So we've got this entire cavity, this panel that folds all the way down from here, with the wheel inside, just to move that notch from there to there, from that to that, from that to that. That's all this entire panel is for. All of it. Now I was thinking you could have it as storage, like, hey look, I'll put that in there out of the way because it's stupid and I don't like, oh wait, the wheel's in the way, I can't do that. So this entire thing is just to move the knee from there to there. Bear in mind this will go all the way to like there, and that won't lock together because it's not in the slots. So this bit I think is a little over-engineered. But we'll close that, lock it into place and everything's fine. I might as well flip out the little toesy woesy while we're at it. So bring this out, don't even need to do it all the way, just a little bit. Straighten that up, push it in, and flip out the toe. Legs are done, make sure that's on and we'll get to that. And now before we mess around too much, what we're going to do is get these pieces here on, say it with me kids, there's a few on this one, a dreaded double hinge. We're going to fold these out. There you go. And mine especially, I don't know about yours, but certain points, like it's a double hinge, so there's one end and the bottom end. On one of them, it's quite happy to bend anywhere. One of them, it will only bend really at the bottom. The other one, you got to really fight with it. But we don't need to worry about that now, as long as it's out of the way. Now it's out of the way, we can get this piece, fold it up, and that will free all the tolerances up so we can do the rest of the body. At which point we can fold this all the way up straight, and fold the wheels inside. At this point you're supposed to fold this under, fold this down, so it makes a nice close-up section. And these two slots here, you see those? That slot and that slot go into this tab and this tab. Not amazingly well, but just about. So you nudge them slightly though, yeah. It's more the friction of this, say it with me again kids, dreaded double hinge, being from there all the way up to there. It's more the tightness of this joint that holds this together than these tabs, that's all. Now we need to bring this down so that this thin slot here goes into, no, thin tab, sorry, goes into that thin slot there. So bring that down, line it up, tab that in. Bring it down, line it up, tab that in. And then we actually rotate on a pin that's here, the shoulder piece into the middle of the shoulder joint. You might have to rotate the arm out a little bit to make clearance. Rotate this piece. Let me try and show you this properly, hang on. It does get in the way of itself a little bit. So on the pin, I'm going to rotate this. This is the shoulder. Come on, move. All the way up. Push it past that edge. there's a little notch there, and into place. So the shoulder's gone from there to there. Sure. Rotate this up, through, lock into place. And now there's only a couple of things left to do. What we need to do is push this head panel down so that these two tabs go into where the legs tabbed into, where these tabs went in vehicle mode. So that just goes down and push those into place. And you can rotate the head around. And that is Studio Series 86 Kup in robot mode. Yay! I mean, it's close enough, and if I put him over there, you can go, hey, look, that's Kup. But it's when you start going, oh, ooh, yeah. This is the most sad, emaciated, dying of starvation, elderly, depressing head sculpt I've seen on a figure for a long time, or ever, possibly. He just looks so fed up. It's like someone who's had no sleep at all. Had to go in, do a long day of work, and then as soon as he gets home, people are like, oh, can you take the bins out? It's like, it's one of those, I kind of feel sorry for him, but at the same time I'm annoyed, because like, Kup had more energy. Yes, he was elderly and you could see it in his face, but he had more energy than that. I'm pretty sure there's a new head sculpt upgrade kit, something like that. I'm pretty sure there's one knocking around, but ugh. And then you start looking at other bits, like this window should be white. I know on the Bumblebee or Buzzworthy release, I think it is, they've fixed that, fine. Maybe they fixed the head, I'm not sure. But that shouldn't be that colour, it doesn't look right. And even then, there should be a ridge around the top of it. It shouldn't just be the glass and then stop. Doesn't look right. The shoulders. His shoulders are low down. Is that supposed to be like sagging of old age, or is it just part of the engineering? Because they could have had this just come straight up to the top without and had this little cover with it. But they haven't. They've had it engineered it separately, and I'm not sure why. The arms look pretty good other than that, yeah, apart from where they are. They look pretty good, they're fine, yeah, the little detail and stuff, great, can't complain. They've got a pretty good elbow band. We'll get to the swivel and stuff later. Come down to the waist looks great, the stomach looks great, Autobot symbol looks great. Legs, I don't remember Kup's legs that well, to be honest with you. I think there's a bit more detail here instead of a wheel. But other than that, they look fine, apart from that paint bit. And this big lump on the side, which, you know, doesn't hold super well, so it's just kind of there. They look a bit messy. I feel the Titans Return one got away with this more, and the Titans Return one became like the entire side of the vehicle from the, you know, back all the way up to the top. Sure. Back of the waist's a bit gappy as well. Back of the robot mode, really, apart from this panel, that's a bit... Back of the forearms, I don't care that much. I'll be honest with you, I don't care that much. He's got ports, so you can make him stand on things. And another thing about the shoulders, they're quite chunky here because of all the hinges and the way they tab together, but then you can kind of see through them. I don't know, it feels like he's not transformed completely, like you've missed a step and he should go, you're like, yeah, but you missed the thing and the shoulders actually end up, I mean, you can't even bend it anymore to get it higher. You know, he looks mistransformed and he's not. That being said, apart from these little bits on the back, he does feel nice and solid. So I'm not completely against him. He's got a pretty good ankle tilt, you know. He's got all the articulation you'd like, and if you really wanted for a slightly more dramatic pose, you can undo the little notch and have him stand like that. Like his knee's broken. But speaking of breaking him, because I was having this discussion with Ninja Bill a while ago, You know when things have got like mushroom pegs and stuff, and and ball joints, and if you want to, you can pop a figure's arm off and go, oh look, he was damaged in battle, and then pop it back on, and it makes no difference to the figure. It's something you can do. They're designed to come apart if kids are too rough with them. That's what ball joints are for. Instead of, for example, universal joints, which shouldn't come apart. Yeah, well, to reenact that part of the film where he was ripped apart by an underwater robotic squid, which sounds really weird when I say it out loud, they've gone, oh, well, tell you what, we'll just have his arms on pegs that you can just pull off. But not just his arms, we'll do it with his legs as well. Why? Tell you what, let me just prove the point. Let me bring in a size comparison because I've just looked at it and it's got the things I'm talking about. I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to loosen joints, which could be the concern of why they've done it, I guess. But let's bring in Kingdom Pterosaur. So he's reasonably tall. But again, if you want to get the arm off, look, it's a mushroom peg. You can just... I don't really want to do this, but... Oh look, his arm got shot off in battle. Oh no, how could I possibly have done that if they hadn't redesigned the figure just to have pegs? Same with the legs. It's something you can do. They didn't need to engineer that into it. This is a pretty figure, by the way. Solid. Heavy. So yeah, this gimmick is pointless and stupid. I mean, alright, apparently you can use him, because they're 5mm pegs, you can use them as weaponizers and stuff like that, and, you know, for argument's sake, let's just plug his gun into it. So you can leave that round a corner and surprise someone. I don't know. It's weird. And I suppose we should talk about the accessories while we're here. So he's got the gun, which apparently looks quite like his G1 gun, possibly, I think cartoon, not toy. But it feels really weedy, like really small. Again, let me just get Pterosaur back here, and we'll get Pterosaur's gun. Bear in mind, Pterosaur is way more engineered than that. There's way more plastic to him than that, and, you know, Pterosaur's gun, Kup's gun. See, this is just one pressed bit of plastic, and it's pitiful. Really, really pitiful. Like, let's put this in his hand, so he's got it, and he can go pew, 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 pew. Ah, that's really weedy. And for argument's sake, let's give him Pterosaur's gun. Okay. Ah, come on. It's 5mm, it should go in. There we go. Okay, for argument's sake, you've got two people trying to take you into custody. One's pointing that at you, and one's pointing that at you. Which one are you going to listen to? So, obviously, the handheld bazooka equivalent, compared to his little, I don't know, his little laser pen to entertain kittens. Obviously the big gun's going to win, because you're like, yeah, that one's probably going to hurt more and do more damage and probably wipe out the rest of the you know, the area we're standing in. Yeah, I'm going to go with him. So this one's a bit... it's really weedy, is what I'm trying to say. It's really, really weedy. Then you get this thing. This is supposed to be the Energon goodie dispenser from the film. You know, that him and Hot Rod had, and they gave them to the Sharkticons? Were they Sharkticons? Alicons. Alicons, I think they were. Sorry, Alicons. They gave them to them first. No, they didn't. Sharkticons. They did give them to the Sharkticons. And then when they ran out, they had a fight, blah, blah, blah. But then they also gave one to Wreck-Gar, and they all made lovely friends. Isn't that smashing? What a great tale for friendship. But they're supposed to be purple for Energon. And he's supposed to hold it from the side, not have it awkwardly sit on top of his hand, as demonstrated thus. Do you often walk around with a box of snacks and just rest it on top of your hand? Just little things that bother me so much. And the one final insult, which I have found a way around, but I really had to do some YouTube lookery. YouTube lookery. That's a term I never thought would exist, but okay. There's nowhere to store them, like properly, unless you dislodge these and plug them into his legs. If you can get them to stay, because they don't hold very, very well. Slide that back on the thing. And you plug them into the legs like that, and you do it both sides. But that's really, really awkward. Failing that, let me get this back into place. The only other thing you can do is use these slots here. So you can get it, put it in like that. Get this thing, put it in like that. Because even though it's stupid, I don't want to lose it. And again, with the power of that hinge right there, just leave them up against the back. They don't make the backpack that much bigger, and at least you don't lose them. And yeah, it's about as good as you're going to get, really, kids. Just get the size comparisons in, just for argument's sake. And I don't hate him. I actually like him a lot more than I've made it sound. But when I'm reviewing these things for you guys, I've got to be honest with you. And if there's a problem with it, I've got to tell you. He's a fun little figure. He's nice and solid. I like just holding him and, like messing around with him a little bit. But I'm hard-pressed to say he's fun. I can't quite put my finger on saying, yeah, he's fun. He's not. I don't know. Maybe he's a grim reminder of my impending death at some point. I don't know. I got an a letter yesterday about my pension. Apparently I can return as early as 2049. So for anyone watching this in the future, it's 27 years on my birthday. So, like, 27 and a half years. Yeah. But still, that's a thing that happens. So, yeah, if anyone's got any opinions, any thoughts, if they know of any cheap upgrade kits they want to send me or something, I don't know. Maybe someone's 3D printed a better gun for him. Feel free to send it my way, because this thing's awful. No, he's not. He's not awful. His accessories are awful. He could have been better. I think that's the point. He's disappointing, because there's a spark of something there, and then they've let it fail. Like the better head sculpt, the better gun, matching up the paint and plastic a bit better. He'd have been great. Maybe the Buzzworthy's good. I don't know. But he's just like maybe a 4 out of 10, like 3 out of 10, 3, 4. He's not quite broken even. I'm not going to start giving things number scoring systems. I'm not playing that game. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night, because I should have done this review yesterday, and frankly, it was too hot and I didn't want to. And I was going to watch The Boys with the Missus. So, I should be ugly, I should be wretched, and I shall see all of you in the next one, where I'll still be slightly more handsome than him. Bye!